It's September in Nebraska. And cattle rancher Jerry Rouse has an urgent problem. One of his cows has a serious medical issue, an anal prolapse, potentially life-threatening.
We'll rope this cow and get her tied down and put her back together.
But Jerry's confident he and his wife Tammy can handle it.
Keep the cow here at the water tank.
Okay.
It's all part of another day of riding the range and checking the herd at Rouse's 1+1 Ranch outside Burwell in the Sand Hills of Nebraska.
You've probably seen this before.
Oh, once or twice.
Rouse's is not a dude ranch, but a working cattle ranch that takes guests, just 10 at a time.
It's just amazing to be here and living a little part of their life for a week.
People looking to experience the life of a working cowboy, like Herman, here from Germany on his 11th month-long visit.
That is what I want to have. I don't just want to have a cowboy picture, I want to live it.
Tammy pulls up in a four-wheeler with the medical gear to treat cow number 59, but the white-faced heifer is not interested. It takes a little perseverance.
Yeah, Herman!
Keep pulling. There you go. Attaboy. Attaboy.
But Jerry and Herman finally get her roped, and then the real work begins. After the animal gets a sedative, Jerry and Tammy get started putting the ailing bovine back together.
Got mine? No.
It's a hot day and hard work. Doctoring cattle is not for those who don't want to get their hands dirty.
Pulled that back.
But this cow will die if it doesn't get treated.
Just do what you have to do.
It takes some time, but finally the job is done. And minutes later, the cow appears none the worse for wear.
All went well. We was lucky. Yep, lucky you guys found her.
It's unfortunate that this thing happened with one of the cows, but it's interesting to see how ranchers do everything they can do to save that one cow.
She'll be moseying off. She'll go lay down again after a bit.
Live happily ever after.
That's right. That's what I hope.
There's just one program for guests at Rouse's: run the ranch from the back of a horse. Or a four-wheeler, which Herman hops on early in the morning to drive the horses in from their overnight pasture. Days here begin before sunrise. Wonderful to see it this morning as the first rays of the sun bathe the big ranch house in a warm glow.
Did you sleep good?
Inside, Tammy's cooking up a farm-fresh breakfast.
Fresh from the cow, huh?
Just about everything she serves in her delicious homemade meals
Make a lot of cheese.
is raised right here at the ranch.
90% of what you're eating on our table comes out of the garden.
The big garden's out back.
It's a trombocini.
You name it, Tammy grows it.
Yep, there's Brussels sprouts there. I have a little bit of everything.
Potatoes, peppers, broccoli, tomatoes, and many more, with flowers to help the bees that keep everything pollinated.
It has been a big drawing card to have fresh food and know where it's coming from.
We'll share those meals like a big family at the long dining room table. And that fresh food is tasty.
Oh my gosh, Tammy can cook. You're not going to lose weight here.
And she's right over here.
You may not gain any either. After breakfast, a busy physical day begins as we head out to the corral to saddle our horses.
Sometimes she's just a little tough to catch, but she's an amazing little mare.
Some of these frisky equines like to play hard to get, but Jerry's there to lend a hand and show you how it's done.
Well, she knows you're here, just come around with me on this side, and then we'll just ask her to get over, okay? Sure. Good girl.
As we catch, brush, and saddle our mounts.
Okay, guys, we better get going.
It helps, of course, to have some riding experience before you come here,
It's not necessary.
but rookies are welcome too.
I have a fair amount of confidence in the horses that we have for our guests to ride, that they're safe and they'll take care of the non-riders.
Jerry's got the right horse for riders of every ability level.
So what's the mission today?
We're going to ride up here about 7 miles to a pasture, and there's 150 yearlings up here.
90 miles northwest of Grand Island, Rouse's lies in the Sand Hills,
But it's a big pasture.
It's a big pasture.
a unique part of the West. Vast, wide open, and aptly named. The soil beneath the grass that grows here appears to be nothing but sand. And there are spots known as blowouts that look like a golf course sand trap, but it's the perfect place to run cattle.
I'm pretty sure God made these sand hills just to raise horses and cattle on.
Jerry's ancestors first arrived here as homesteaders, and today's ride takes us by an abandoned house from that era, built in the 1800s of sand and mortar.
Him and his wife lived here in a tent for like, I don't know, something like 3 years or something building this house.
The trail we're riding to the pasture today was once an old postal route.
Let's head north.
But once we get where we're going, we'll spread out, look for cattle, and make sure they're okay.
And it can be anything. You just never know. That's why we check them.
Lots of freedom when you ride here. No nose to tail. And no one's looking over your shoulder.
2 weeks ago, he bucked me off.
While checking the cows, Herman also uses the ride to train a new paint the ranch just got in.
Now we are a step further.
Herman, who looks and acts like the real deal himself, only started riding 15 years ago. And when he and his friends Manuela and Catherine discovered Rouse's a few years later, they found what they were looking for.
Our lovely place. We like the horses, the landscape, Jerry and Tammy. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. I really love it.
Catherine and Manuela are just as enamored of the ranch as Herman. They're up before sunrise every morning caring for the calves who need bottle feeding and taking care of other chores that are no chore to them.
You're kind of paying to work, I guess, huh?
Yeah, but we like it.
Herman and these two girls are just awesome. They've been here so many years. Hell, they know more about what goes on around here than I do.
Did he know much when he came here?
No.
You can come here and learn to be a cowboy if you want to.
Well, they need a better teacher than what they got, but yeah, they do pretty damn good.
Don't get me wrong, I don't try to be as good as the cowboy that lives here because I can't achieve that. I try to get better every year, and so I don't see when I'll ever be finished with coming here.
And they're not the only ones.
Oh, there's a guest from New Mexico that's really good. There's a guy from France that's really good.
The Rouses began taking guests in the 1990s, but when Tammy first proposed the idea, Jerry was not enthused.
I was a lot leery about it, but it's been just the opposite of what I thought it would be. The people are amazing, and the friendships we've made over the years, you can't put a price on it.
No better way to make friends than spending time in the saddle, checking the cows and the water. Pumped from a well by that ancient but effective technology.
It's been here a long time.
Some over-anxious cows knock the spout awry.
These cattle are starting to get low on water.
Herman spotted an old piece of rope that can fix that problem.
We'll use it to tie this lead spout so they can't knock it back out of there again.
Never know what you're going to find out here, huh?
Yeah. Well, I think I'm good over here. And usually you find something.
We stop in a grove of cottonwood trees for lunch, the picturesque site of an old homestead, whose former resident left behind the ruins of an old Model T.
And the windshield was between those two things.
Right.
Plus a rake once used to cut hay.
When it was sharp, it cut pretty.
This busy, beautiful, and memorable day is not over when the ride is done.
Girl.
Back at the barn, we each unsaddle, brush down our horses, and give them some well-deserved tasty grain. And while our four-legged friends are enjoying their treat, we'll have one of our own. Nice cold beer. Not everything about Rouse's is 100% authentic cowboy. At the end of the day, you'll spend the night in one of these cozy, comfortable rooms with a great hot shower. And the food is really good. And after dinner, Herman helps do the dishes.
It is nice to wash the dishes for your friends, where you feel as a guest. And this is truly a guest ranch and not a customer ranch.
And the perfect evening entertainment is just to chill out on the porch and listen to the crickets. Next day, we're back in the saddle again, riding the trail, checking the cows, living the dream. The working cowboy life may not be everybody's dream, but if it's yours, this is the place where it can come true.